So how's everything, you think, looking? Dog
I think it
blood?
looks fantastic.
Okay.
The sort of almost excessive nature of the blood and the violence in the movie obviously makes for some strange moments on the set.
There have been many wonderful moments. Steve Root getting shot in the throat and gurgling. We shot Javier performing field surgery on himself in a crappy motel room. The prosthetic wound and all this sort of...
blood everywhere.
And with the opening scene, we just into the mayhem, and it sort of establishes the bad guy's character in a kind of graphic way.
I got it under control.
The thing that surprised all of us, I think, was the opening violence, strangling the deputy with the handcuffs. And it sounded like, you know, it's a tussly kind of fight thing. No big deal. Oh, man.
I was talking to Joel, and he goes, we're going to choke him. He's going to die. His neck's going to split open. There's going to be some blood. And this has to be the most violent scene in the film. This has to be the most horrific, torturous sort of choking scene ever seen.
And so the question was how to make that look real and brutal without hurting either of the actors. Because to put any pressure on someone with a pair of handcuffs, your wrists go numb after a couple of seconds. You can't really feel anything with your fingers there, can you? With this hand?
Handcuffs are not designed to be comfortable. So once you get down on the ground, the handcuffs pinch the arms and are on pressure points. If he's not pulling hard on the handcuffs, then it doesn't look like he's really hurting the guy. And then if he's pulling hard on the handcuffs, he's hurting himself.
And we built this harness to the actor, which looked like something the Terminator would have. It had metal braces around the neck and the handcuffs attached to that. And then we created prosthetics that would fit over all this and try to make it look natural. Sugar has his handcuffs wrapped around the deputy, and he's violently throwing him around the room by the neck. And as the chain digs into the skin, he eventually gives it a good twist, and the skin pops, and the artery bursts, and blood starts to come out. Give it to the brothers for shooting it in a way that I think sells the effect correctly.
There's something about it that's a little like a horror movie. There are things that are sort of similar to what we've done before and things that are very different.
A lot of this stuff is very procedural, people doing things to cover their tracks or track the other two people. It's all very, much of the movie
about
is...
physical activity in order to achieve a purpose, which honestly we've sort of always been fascinated by.
The pharmacy explosion was a little tricky just because you're working in a public street. You have cars going by, stunt guys on the walkway, and then the crews in the store.
So when you step down, sort of a quick look that way and that way, definitely look.
The whole thing comes from the original storyboard of the car blow-up scenes. So you start with the story elements where he makes a fuse and lights the gas cap, and it's all on the actor's cue. Action. So even the door that he's opening is loaded with materials. And even though one car explodes, we had 5 large plate glass windows to drop at the same time as if there was a concussion wave coming out of the car. You just kind of sandwich all the effects into it so it's not a big threat to anybody, but it's still visually filling the frame. Working with the Coens, it's always, let's take it a little further as we get a little more into the art of it rather than churning it out by body count.
Take the gun out again, grab onto the thing, gun's drawn. Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Most of the special effects are related to the shotgun fights.
The weapons involved were a big deal.
Let's talk to Jerry. I'm a little worried about that.
All the guns the actors used. McCarthy's very detailed in his description about what the guns really were. Almost as a basic hunting rifle.
You hold still.
It's a Remington 700, but that's the same kind of weapon that Army snipers used. And he was a Vietnam vet, so that tied together.
12 gauge. You need shells?
Yeah, double O.
Moss takes a shotgun and saws it off in the motel room.
So you want this to fall from this to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quiet, please.
McCarthy didn't really say what it was, but when he said he worked the pump and let the hammer down, There's only one shotgun I knew that, that did that. It was a Winchester Model 97. And so that's what we went with.
That's a cut.
Moss has to kind of work for his weapons. Sugar just somehow seems to pull them out of thin air. Just whatever kind of killing thing that he needs. He has this shotgun with a silencer on it, which is a real unusual weapon, and we had to have that to accommodate the description.
What is that?
I need you to step out of the car, sir.
This cattle gun that he uses.
What is that for?
Oh, yes, the bolt gun. It's modeled after the device used to kill cows, which is a steel bolt that, goes through the skull. So we sort of took the look and made a set of guns, one that has an air cylinder in it to knock locks apart. And then the other one was a recoil model that would shoot backwards, so the actor had something to work with, and he didn't have to totally mime it.
It's as close as we'll come to a kind of action movie, although it is and it isn't. But like I say, it's the closest we'll come.
I think No Country for Old Men is a very simple story, but in the Coen's hands, it's very complex in the way they shot it, in the way they go farther with their characters. And it's fun to watch, even if it's violent, because the story is about violence.
The movie is by far the most violent movie we've ever made. It was different. I mean, it was different from anything we've done before.
Once again, it belongs to the Coens.